Over the past 100 years, Lockheed Martin and Sikorsky defined the aviation industry through a commitment to performance and integrity and a shared passion for innovation. Before manned flight was considered possible, Igor Sikorsky, Glenn L. Martin, and Alan and Malcolm Lockheed overcame the obstacles of their time to pioneer aircraft solutions. Lockheed Martin and Sikorsky have shared an enduring partnership for nearly 40 years. That foundation will help us take the leap into the next generation of global helicopter solutions. With the addition of Sikorsky, Lockheed Martin begins a new chapter in its history. Starting today, the men and women of Lockheed Martin stand ready to support Sikorsky's mission to bring people home everywhere, every time. Our joint manufacturing and engineering professionals push the boundaries of the possible to reach new heights in rotorcraft platforms and mission systems. We have a bright future ahead as we honor our heritage and unite to accelerate the pace of innovation. Together, we will advance technology to address our military and commercial customers' most complex challenges today and in the future.
On the banks of the Delaware River, south of South Philly, Boeing people put their own spin on things. Every day is Independence Day, igniting a passion of innovation to make a difference in our lives. Boeing Philadelphia builds rotorcraft, vehicles that defy convention and turn from helicopters into airplanes. Flying machines as unique to Pennsylvania's largest city as its culinary traditions. Aircraft that provide a taste of freedom. The Chinook and the Osprey are built to connect, protect, explore, and inspire a world often at odds with its surroundings. The Chinook is the reliable gatekeeper. For more than 5 decades, the heavy lift legend has opened and closed the door to conflict and delivered aid to those in need. The Osprey is the chameleon, half helicopter, half airplane, a tilt rotor for an ever-changing landscape. Boeing Philadelphia does more than roll impressive aircraft out of the factory. It checks the direction of the wind and foretells the future. It puts fight into a fighter. It engineers fresh ideas across the enterprise. In this cradle of American independence. Those who build these chariots of the clouds do it with passion and determination. Their aircraft carry people out of danger, get them home safely, give an always timely vertical lift.
What does this flag represent? Service, loyalty, the never-ending pursuit of greatness. And the men and women who wear this flag, well, they are America. So whether home or abroad, we're here to serve their needs. And when time is not on their side and everything is stacked up against them, we'll be there, supplying mission-critical support. To DoD first responders and all who preserve freedom, bring us your mission. We'll take care of the rest.
Flight Safety International is a world-leading supplier of high-quality, advanced technology training devices. We are recognized for our experience and expertise in the design and manufacture of full flight simulators, advanced technology training devices, visual systems, and displays for virtually any aircraft, as well as for providing outstanding service and logistic support. Flight Safety has designed and manufactured more than 700 full flight simulators and other advanced training devices since 1978. Operators of commercial, government, and military aircraft from around the globe have logged millions of hours on flight safety simulators, training hundreds of thousands of pilots and technicians to fly and operate their aircraft safely and efficiently. Whether your requirements are for fixed-wing aircraft or helicopters, commercial airliners, military aircraft, or business jets, you can benefit from our full range of simulation equipment. Flight Safety's new state-of-the-art flight simulation facility, a custom-built center for simulation design and manufacture, opened in 2011. It has enabled us to further increase the efficiency of our manufacturing processes, augment production capacity, and provide a productive environment for the more than 700 flight safety teammates who work there in engineering, manufacturing, and support. The 375,000 square foot world-class Center for Simulation Excellence is designed to ensure that the flight simulators and other advanced training devices Flight Safety builds are produced efficiently and with the high quality and precision for which we are recognized the world over. The facility has the capacity to produce up to 19 full flight simulators simultaneously. It offers dedicated areas for component manufacturing and complete assembly. Each simulator is built to the highest standards and to deliver 99.8% availability. Our vertical integration, experienced, highly skilled workforce, state-of-the-art design and manufacturing facility, and decades of training expertise uniquely qualify us to produce simulation and mission rehearsal solutions that meet your specific needs. Flight Safety International, advancing aviation safety and mission effectiveness through flight simulation and professional training services.
Technology is evolving the way we do business and ushering in a new wave of innovation in how we communicate, collaborate, and share data. Across all spheres of industries, internet speeds of 10 gigabit and beyond are powering intelligent solutions that will change the face of business well into the economy of tomorrow. Revolutionize your business with MediaCom.
Hi, I'm Arnie Nelson, president of NHA Scholarship Fund. This year we've got a new team pulled together to streamline the process and also to get our numbers up. We're going to try for 15 scholarships this year at $3,000 a piece, so it's about more than we've done in the past. But our timeline looks good. We're in the middle of the application season, goes to the 31st of January, and then after that we'll rack and stack everybody and come up with our winners to be announced at the NHA Symposium in May. How you can help us is donate. And let's do this for our families and our active duty people that can get these scholarships. See you out there.
Welcome, a big welcome from Pensacola, Florida. It's a beautiful day down here, and today we're going with the virtual Gulf Coast Fleet Flying and NHA join-up. As we all know and we're all experienced, COVID has changed many things this year. And this year we had to switch to a virtual setting and also switch our days so that we go from HSM, HSC, U.S. Coast Guard, HM, U.S. Marine Corps, both tilt rotor and rotary. And then we're looking at a senior leader day on Friday, which will be a great professional development for all the students in the room here that are HT8 students, in the atrium, and also the Lassen Auditorium for HT28 and HT18. And then down at NES Pensacola for all the Naval Air Schools, commands, and the API. But what is the objective? The objective today is to make sure that the students that are in this room and that are trying to make a decision on their career path have the real information about the communities. Today, we're going to look at the HSM community and make sure that you guys understand the mission sets, the duty stations, and it's a great opportunity to welcome the HSM East and West Coast leadership to address you both virtually and here in person. And then a huge thanks to HSM 40 for providing 260 Romeos on the flight line for you guys to give a static tour display later this afternoon. But the second objective is to network, is to really make sure that the helicopter community and the rotary aviation has a method to make sure that we all are interconnected. And the way I like to think about this, and especially on HSM Day, I think Link 16 is the best analogy. We are all in squadrons operating on our own, forward deployed maybe 50, 60 miles, thinking that our own mission is also an important thing, but we must realize that we're all working on the mission and out there working our own challenges and our own kind of radar set, but we need to send that information back. We need to make sure that every helicopter provides its information to the larger picture. That is Link 16. In this professional setting in the rotary aviation, that's Naval Helicopter Association. It provides touch points like this, and those that provide Link 16 know that a time sync is crucial to make sure that everybody's on the same page. So today we're going to take this opportunity in the fall to sync up at the rotary wing aviation across all communities, across all services. And today we get to highlight the HSM Day. The primary day sponsor for today, providing the backbone for the Naval Helicopter Association, is Sikorsky, and a Lockheed Martin company that we all are very familiar with. But this year, the theme for this NHA Join Up and also Fleet Fly-In is Steam to Glass. We're going to highlight the fact that advanced rotary aviation, the training that is conducted here is going to go from the TH-57, the legacy aircraft, to the new TH-73. Later this week, we hope to have one of those Leonardo aircraft on the flight line for you guys to take a look at and see that cockpit and the fact that we're going from those old steam gauges to the beautiful glass of the future in the 60 Romeo. Now, if you guys would like to become a member of NHA, you can have a beautiful Steam to Glass patch. This is for those that are here located in Pensacola. Become a member and you can wear that proud, and it shows that you're part of that link, that network of rotary wing aviation. A couple of things I want to highlight on, if you pop out your cell phone and you go to navalhelicopterassociation.org, you can actually link into a chat box. And I'm serious, you can pull out your cell phone right now, because you guys can put chats in there, question marks for any event during this entire week. And that includes both the Department of Defense events that'll be on Microsoft Teams and also these live events supported by Naval Helicopter Association. Also on there, if you would like to become a member, you go ahead and click on that NHA logo, and that NHA logo will allow you to join NHA or update your membership and make sure that you are linked in. Now from here in Region 5, going back to that chat box, the best question will get a $50 cash prize from the NHA Region 5. So go ahead and put some thought behind it. Just be that instructor. We all think about the questions we're going to ask the students. So therefore, why don't you as students think about what you want to ask the senior leaders. On Friday, we're going to have an address by both Air Boss and also the Navy IG and several senior leaders that will be ready to conquer your tough questions. Now let's pass it over to NHA National Chairman, Rear Admiral McGrath.
Hello, I'm Pat McGrath, Chairman of the Naval Helicopter Association. It is always great to reconnect with naval rotary wing personnel that make up over 50% of naval aviation. COVID-19 and cancellation of the 2020 National Symposium were tough 1-2 punches to NHA earlier this year. The resulting impacts have been enormous and they continue to cause great damage. Like all of you, I hope that things will be opening up slowly and safely soon. This virtual Gulf Coast Fleet Fly-In and NHA Join-Up is a wonderful effort to recapture a bit of tradition and normalcy. All of the services are committing aircraft and aircrew participation on the South Whiting Field flight line, offering platform aircrew access and exposure to student naval aviators and aircrew in accordance with prevailing safe distancing guidelines. On the virtual side of things, this week we have created similar access and exposure by way of platform community, rotary wing, tilt rotor, and unmanned, and service, USN, USMC, and US Coast Guard, each and every day, something for everyone, to include professional development, panel discussions, and award recognition, both pre-recorded and live. We will get to hear from community leaders and operators, senior naval aviation leadership, and even captains of industry, all the while appreciating the role of industry in supporting war fighting and the marvelous platforms we fly and advanced technologies coming to the fleet. NHA was founded in 1971 as a nonprofit professional organization to promote the development and use of naval vertical lift aircraft in the United States Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard. We provide a forum whereby persons involved with vertical lift aircraft can interact and recognize those who have made significant contributions to those purposes. We hope that you like what you see and hear and decide to become a member, as this is your professional organization. You will hear from Commander Mike Bus Short throughout the week as he oversees membership and discusses the various options to join. Every member counts, and we are stronger together. I believe the access and exposure created through this virtual event will help all of you student naval aviators and aircrew gain critical insight into the exciting world of rotary wing, tilt rotor, and unmanned aircraft within the Navy rotary wing force. Our future could never be brighter.
All right. Good morning from San Diego. I would normally say it's sunny. It's a little cloudy today, but good morning from San Diego nonetheless to all of you in Pensacola and all those in the outstation. Thanks a lot for tuning in. And I just want to start off with a real special thank you to NHA and Pumpkin O'Neill for the flexibility and the coordination that you have shown to bring this Gulf Coast Fleet Fly-In to the virtual medium. I tell you, we certainly would like to be there, sharing the camaraderie and getting the goodness out of what it, is all about wearing this flight suit. But the next best thing is doing this virtual. And I do understand that, there are still a fair amount of you that are going to get that experience being in person. And I do appreciate that Commodore Whitfield and Wing Land folks are there. But thank you very much. And it's a real privilege to be here and to join you from San Diego and have a few minutes. So I'll just talk for a few minutes and then hand the mic over to Commodore Whitfield and we'll get on with it. I tell you, that video is really inspiring, pumps me up. I hope it certainly pumps you up. And what a privilege it is for HSM to be able to kick off this week of Gulf Coast Fleet Fly-In. I tell you, I hope you are really excited to be a part of Rotary Wing. Business is incredible right now. The most capable and lethal rotary wing force in the world that you are joining. And I just want to commend you right out of the gates on all of your accomplishments up to this point. Students and instructors, thanks for what you're doing there in Pensacola. You are the ones that are planting the seed cord for the future and to keep us the greatest rotary wing force in the world. With over 50% of naval aviation population in rotary wing, we continue to be the heavy lifters of naval aviation, providing critical, diverse mission sets across the spectrum, from combat power to combat logistics. And I tell you, if you join the Navy, and hopefully you did, with a deep sense of commitment to this profession of arms and about the sisterhood and brotherhood of what it means to wear this flight suit and to be in a wardroom and a ready room together, HSM, I can tell you, it is real. And you'll get a sense of that in our community. As that video just showed, we are everywhere in the Navy. When you want to talk distributed maritime operations, I heard it said recently that HSM is distributed maritime operations. I tell you, when there's a strike group or an ARGMU that goes out and they're looking, the commander's looking for eyes and ears of what's out ahead of him, his first question is where are my Romeos? And you see it just any given day. And take today as an example. We're out there chasing Russian subs in the Northern Atlantic. We're chasing drug runners in South America with Coast Guard snipers on board at the orders of the president. Over in 7th Fleet, we're chasing Chinese subs. We're providing the queuing and targeting data, collecting signals on Chinese service combatants for the strike group. We're in 5th Fleet providing that maritime security as we have been doing for the past 10, 15 years. We're incredibly relevant. We are integrated. We're talking with the air wing. When we're up there, we are talking with the Hornets, talking with the Growlers, talking with the Hawkeyes. We're in the joint arena too. Air Force can't get enough Romeo. When we go up the Nautic, and we do a joint maritime intelligence surveillance reconnaissance exercise, we are the ones feeding Rivet Joint, feeding JSTARS the information on where the targeting is. Marine Corps, they need us. We're currently embarked on 2 ARGMUs, but Macon Island notably out here in San Diego, and providing scarring, targeting, surface picture for an entire ARGMU as they get ready to go on deployment. So there you have it. Any given deployment, Rotary Wing is probably accounting for over 50% of an air wing's flight hours. And that is absolutely notable. So warfighting, you want warfighting, you're going to get it in HSM. But I'll tell you another thing that's really cool about HSM. It's a great opportunity, to take care of your families. We have really good locations. And that's part of the experience, too, of this journey in naval aviation. And I tell you, between San Diego, Jacksonville, Hawaii, Japan, and Commodore Whitfield will probably talk about it here in a second, adding Rota, Spain to the mix. it is just a fantastic time again to be in Rotary Wing. I tell you what, you'll get your hours, you'll get your deployment reps. We have some safe, reliable machines, and we're excited to have you joining us. So again, it's a privilege to be here. Kick off this week with HSM. Thanks for what you're doing. I congratulate you and look forward to getting you out into the fleet. I'll hand the mic over to Chip. Thanks.
Hey, good afternoon, Warriors. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Mark Ziggy Thompson, United States Marine Corps retired. I'm a former West Coast Cobra driver and former commanding officer AC-28 Hellions. I'd like to thank the NHA for this opportunity to introduce you to the TH-73 Alpha. And by introduce, I mean that I must have missed a meeting or been late at a meeting because I got tagged to do this. But regardless, let's look at the TH-73 and talk about its key attributes. Main thing to know is that the Leonardo helicopters offer the United States Navy a true training platform. That's that T in the TH-119. This aircraft is optimized for training. That means that Leonardo helicopters captured the best systems, the best configuration to support that learning continuity, to build on what the young men and women have learned in primary on the T6, so they can take that knowledge, build on it, advance it, and push it out to the operating forces and show up to the fleet more prepared. We've got one aircraft that in its configuration can do all of the current syllabus and proposed syllabus. What that means, with a max gross weight of 6,300 pounds, this aircraft is about twice as heavy as a 57. It's more robust, but the skids are only about 1 foot wider, and the rotor arc is about 2 feet longer completely. Powered by a PT6B 37A engine. It's about 1,000 shaft horsepower. If you notice, that PT6 engine is also up at Northfield. So we're operating in the same family of engines. Again, going back to that learning continuity and learning continuum. This aircraft's max VME is about 152 knots. It cruises at about 138 knots, and it has about 3 hours of fuel with a Navy configuration. All 130 aircraft are NVG compatible. They all have a hoist A kit on them, and they all have the hooks underneath. No maintenance action required to go to external ops. Just pull the aft door, lock it in place. When you're below 70 knots, you're cleared hot to accelerate to 85 knots. What I want to point out is we've got a crew observer seat right here. The second student naval aviator then has an opportunity to truly integrate and become part of the crew. There's no longer a bulkhead blocking the visibility. They have full visibility on all 4 MFDs for both verbal and non-verbal communication. Let's go ahead and break it to the cockpit itself and look at the 4 MFDs. So with NHA having steam to glass as its theme this year, it's very appropriate to take a better examination of the TH-73 TH-119 cockpit. As you can see, it's a dual cockpit quad display with the Genesis Electronic Flight Instrument System, the EFIS. All 4 of these MFDs and PFDs can be split screen as depicted to have 8 different display configurations available to the instructor pilot and student naval aviator. Each of these MFDs and PFDs has its own power source and also retains its own memory and flight data systems. This entire cockpit has the latest obstacle awareness and warnings. We're talking terrain, obstacle, collision, and ground proximity. Most importantly, this cockpit reflects fleet operational aircraft. The H-60s, the Yankee, the V-22s, and our future 53 Kilo all have similar displays. This supports that continuity of learning that started in the T6 glass cockpit will now reside in the TH-73s in advanced helicopter training and support the education and training of our student naval aviators as they head out into the operating forces.
All right, good morning, everyone. Sure, I'm on. Turning over from taking the handoff from J-Mel on the West Coast. He talked to most of you about what we do and what we can do. And I was watching the Leonardo caption. I show of hands are in the room that I'm in. How many of you need to fly the 73? It looked nice, though, didn't it? Totally nice. Well, let me tell you a secret. This entire generation sitting around the room have been going from what you've been flying to the 60 Bravo when I was a lot younger to now the 60 Romeo. And the delta and the transition you are all about to make is colossal, to say the very least. You're going to hear a lot about 100 level when you get down to the fleet, when you get to your FRSs, no matter where you go. 100 level is not what it was when we were JOs, when the old folks were JOs. I'm excited for you. If I could turn back time and trade places with you for 1 second, I would, because what you're going to go see in the future, you are the future of naval aviation. And if you don't think naval aviation's got a place in the long run of our nation's security, you're absolutely crazy. We're going to talk to you a little bit. Today is all about HSM, and I love the fact that HSM gets to be the test bed and go first in everything with the virtual world. We tried it with Tailhook not too long ago, and it was okay. But so far, I'll tell you right now, we've had far less glitches than Tailhook did. So thanks to all the folks that are behind the scenes, making the cameras work, making the videos work, keeping the computers running. I see someone pulling their hair out, but I think it's all running smooth. So thanks to the team. HSM. J-Mel talked to all of you a little bit about all of the missions and places and things that we're going to do. And a little bit later, I'm going to talk to you, give you a little bit more context. What I want to tell you as an intro, though, for HSM specifically is our community's philosophy, command philosophy, community philosophy. You could shrink it down into one word, and that one word is family. I've been married 24 years. I got 6 kids. Okay, one of the QAO at the FRS recently, one of the more recent QAOs at the FRS Honor Instructor Tour, had 2 children. Families are important. If you don't have a solid family at home, you're not going to succeed in our line of work. If you don't have a family you know you can go home to that loves you and is going to take care of you, you are not going to succeed in our line of work. If you've learned anything in the helicopter community so far in the HT world, we are a crew concept. Right now, it feels like the instructors are breathing down your neck, and I don't think they hit you with the PCLs anymore like they used to, right? Not allowed to anymore. Gotcha. And it feels like you're single piloted, right? When you get to the FRS, it's not going to feel like that. You're going to start to feel like you're a little bit more part of the crew. When you get to your first squadron, you are a part of the crew, and you're depending on that AWR-3 in the back of the helicopter to pipe up and say something to keep you from doing something that's not smart. If you don't have a good family base coming into this mix, you're not going to have a good family base when you get to your squadron. And I promise you, our success depends 100% on how tight of a family we can be. J-Mel and I were classmates. We talk all the time. His deputy, my deputy, classmates. Too bad they're odd years. It's not their fault, right? Point being, I'm listening to the thing in the front. Point being, though, you come HSM, you're in for a completely different experience, okay? And I hope that each and every one of you, my challenge to you is before you leave, take the opportunity to talk to one of the instructors or me, ask me questions. In a few minutes, I'll give you more context on why I'm doing this. But in the big scheme of things, ask the questions. Ask the questions. Don't just get up and walk out. We're all going to have on masks, and we're going to be standing around waiting. Your instructors that are here working with you day in, day out, ask them. You need to know where you're going. I'll tell you in a few more minutes when I come back up why I think it ought to be HSM, but I'll tell you right now, HSM is probably the greatest naval aviation community in the history of the Navy. And I hope you would consider joining our family. So there you go. Back over to you there. Take a call. Okay, quick admin note. For everyone out in cyberspace, if you have questions, if I get to the end of my spiel, I love talking about our community, so I have a tendency to be a chatty Cathy because I get pretty excited about it. That being said, though, if I run out of time and we got a time at the end, by all means, send in your chats. I'm supposed to be looking at that, not that, sorry. Send in your chats, ask your questions, and I'll open it up to the floor here at Sykes Hall as well, okay? All right. If I say December 7th, 1941, show of hands. How many of you know what I'm talking about? What was that day? Most people will tell you that was Pearl Harbor, right? That was the day our Navy became an aircraft carrier Navy. Period. Our country had spent the previous at least 20 years investing our nation's treasure into bigger guns that could shoot further. And in one morning, it got all turned upside down. And we became an aircraft carrier Navy. Helicopters didn't even come on the scene until the Korean conflict, right? And then they really came on scene when you got to Vietnam. In the late or early 80s, 60 Bravos came online to replace the Sea Sprites. We invested heavily in what's called the APS 124, surface search radar. We threw that radar on the helicopter, and it completely opened the eyes of the ships that we deployed on. We became a sensor that gave them a 150-mile window around their ships. We also had a data link that gave us secure comms where brevity code words and everything else didn't exist because we were literally talking to an Aztec. We had a RIMRO. We had folks on the ship sitting at watch stations backing us up on our ASW, on our surface surveillance, and on our EW. All back in 1985, right? Fast forward to the Romeo, we added Link 16. Mind you, all the systems, basically the same stuff, only 5-6 generations better. And when I say 5-6 generations better, I'm talking about being able to target on a level unprecedented. I'm talking about radar upgrades that even our own friendlies are perplexed by. When I talk EW, we get phone calls from 3-letter agencies that want us to come play with them. It's absolutely, unequivocally unbelievable. Now, where are we going? In the big scheme of things, we've invested everything since December 8th, 1941, into the aircraft carrier Navy. We've been an aircraft carrier Navy since December 8th, 1941. What's happened in the last 20 years, 25 years? We've been fighting a third world issue in the Persian Gulf. We fly lots of routine missions, basically highboy sheriff, creating the surface picture for carrier strike groups, and we escort ships in and out of the Gulf. It's a lot of what we do. What's everybody else been doing? Growing rapidly. In the last 25 years, to pay for some of our country's bills writ large, and to pay for the Navy, because even when President Bush and Donald Rumsfeld was Secretary of Defense, Donald Rumsfeld, he took the Navy, he took the military and said, hey, I want to keep investing in technology, but we can't have as big a footprint because we can't afford it. And then the next president's administration, Obama's administration, same thing. We continue to shrink, right? But to pay to keep the technology up to speed, some of the things we did were we divested some of our other platforms because they were aging out. I mean, there's no two ways to explain it. But I want you to think about this number for a second. At the height of the Cold War in the early 1990s, we had over 300 P-3s flying anti-submarine warfare around the world at any given time. 300 P-3s. Within every carrier, if you took all the carrier strike groups and add them together, the S-3s, the 60 Foxtrots, and the 60 Bravos, we had over 600 airborne ASW platforms dedicated to organic ASW for the aircraft carrier. That's a lot. It's a whole lot. That's almost 1,000 aircraft dedicated to ASW for our country around the globe. Today, we're buying 121 P-8s. We have 256 Romeos right now, with a few more coming. Thanks to the senators from New York who kept the factory line open, because we're also, guess what? The rest of the world is all scratching their heads going, how do we get Romeo? How do we get more Romeo? The Danes, the Aussies, the Indians just bought a bunch. Saudi Arabia just doubled their buy. Like, everybody you know why? Because it's freaking awesome. That's all there is to it. When we go fly in a carrier strike group and we deploy, fixed wing ops goes for 12 hours. I'm telling you right now, there is not a single day that goes by that there is not a 60 Romeo airborne somewhere on this planet. Why? Because everybody wants what we've got. NSA just dropped $1 million to buy a system for us to test on the aircraft down the road. Like, not down the road, like in the next, coming up soon. What I can't promise you is that you're necessarily going to love it as much as I do. What I can promise you, though, is that if you choose HSM and you look at all of the mission sets that we do and that we practice every day, you're going to love what you do. You're going to feel engaged. When a carrier strike group goes to sea, we fly all the time. all the time. When you finish your first JO tour, we're the only community that guarantee, or we, all the way up to me, we search and make sure that everybody gets a minimum of 750 flight hours. So when they come back to be an instructor, they are good. That's HSM. What's coming down the road as the aircraft carriers get further and further away and we go to distributed maritime ops? What happens when somebody blows up a bucket of bolts in outer space, or somebody launches a cyber attack on the? I don't think it's going to be one of those things. I think the next big fight is going to start with a smoking icon called an aircraft carrier and a submarine. There are less than 400 platforms that are out there dedicated to stop that from happening. If you leave here and you go Romeo, you're going to get a crash course in sound theory, radar theory, EW theory. It's going to be hard. But I'll tell you what, we want you to succeed. It's not like here, because here you're learning all the basics. You're learning all the basics. We need you to succeed in the fleet because we are deploying like crazy. All right, I'm going to leave. I think I've got a couple minutes or no? Okay, they told me to go to questions. So, floor's open. Do we have some that came through on the chat? All right, hit me. Not really. Not really.
We had one through the chat. It's looking for the, do you have a timeline for the Griffins to be fully stood up in Rota, Spain?
Yes, I do. So by the end of FY22, everyone will be there. More than half the squadron. Well, First Det is already on board over there. Half the squadron will be there by next summer, the summer of 21. CO and XO should be moving over there by the middle of the summer next year. And then by the end of 21, so beginning of fiscal year 22 or summer of 22, the whole squadron should be over there and collapsed at San Diego completely.
Another question. What is the future of HSM in regards to supporting ESGs with ASW?
I would like to say I know the answer to that question, but the reality of it is I don't know. But what I can tell you is that a few weeks ago, I got a phone call from Admiral Meyer. He said, can you produce 4 Romeos? I was like, sure, boss, what for? And he said, I'm going to take the WASP off of DISCA duty. We're going to ask the MU to disembark, and I want 4 Romeos to go do an ASW exercise, but I don't have a DDG Flight 2 to put them on. So the LHD is going to take them, and then everything that's going on the West Coast. So I think there is a lot of possibility and potential there. I can't speak to how well that's going to happen because the LHD and the Amphib Navy has got a dedicated Marine Corps mission that they need to follow. And we don't have enough Romeos to fit all the rails of the DDGs and all the LHAs and LHDs that are deploying. So I hope that answers the question. Any hands in here? No, the only ones brave enough to ask questions are the anonymous ones from chat. Nothing. How many of you picked helicopters as your first choice out of VTs? Show of hands. Okay, that's all right. That's how I got through. I wanted helicopters from day one. That's what I asked for, and I got it, and I haven't stopped. I haven't looked back yet. If you think about it, all the young sailors, or there are no young sailors working on your helicopters here. They're all artisans and technicians, right? You got about 50,000 rotating parts beating the air in a submission here. You're going to get to the fleet, and you're going to be a divo first time around. The average age is 19 that are working on those helicopters, and they are $43.5 million modern marvels with over 300,000 rotating parts, all synchronized to keep you in the air. It's pretty cool. All right, any more questions? Yes, ma'am. So right now we're getting small. Okay, I'm going to repeat. The question is, with HSC restructuring right now, do I see HSM's roles like mission creep picking up more plane guard? Do we see HSC or different disassociated sea tours? I'll tell you right now, it's too early to say. I can tell you that we haven't op-checked it yet, and one of the things that we're asking leadership to let us do in the next year over deployments as we write helicopter con ops for the future that takes us out to 2045 is, can we please send out the 4+3 construct. So for all of you that don't understand, the Romeo, usually there's 5 Romeos on the aircraft carrier, and there are 6 Sierras. The new construct, particularly with the Ford class and Air Wing in the future, there will be 4 Romeos and 3 Sierras to cover all the plane guard and logistics. On Matt, the nerds at CNA who we hired and paid a lot of money for, and when I say nerd, that is a big term of endearment for me. Just so you know, I love spreadsheets and I love algorithms, but on paper, it's doable. If you go hour for hour and number of what you absolutely minimally need to fight a war, you could probably get away with 3 Sierras. We all know, and just 4 Romeos. I will tell you, in reality, you look at you watch the carrier go across the pond with an unknown from another country that's under the water somewhere, and they can't have 5 Romeos isn't enough. They'll take a destroyer that's only been home for 2 weeks from a 10-month deployment and turn it back around to escort them across. So I think the answer to that is going to come as we start to use it, and the strike groups and the fleet is going to have a say. Right now, it is theory. It's theoretical, and it is, quite frankly, to help pay bills and to get smaller on the carrier. We're not going to be the only community to get smaller, helicopter communities. There's no way they can fit us all in there. Something's going to give. What it's going to be, man, that's Airboss's call. For us right now, it means that we're all going all expeditionary for the HSC squadrons. Quite frankly, I see that it could be a huge opportunity. When you talk about expeditionary advanced basing, you've got more detachments, expeditionary. I think the leadership within HSC right now they've got some big ideas, and it's pretty freaking exciting. They're getting to reinvent their community because of this change. I hope they get it in place before somebody comes back and says, no, this 4+3 thing, you can't do that. Start back over. We'll see. That's the answer. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Commodore, are there any differences in mission sets with HSM attached on crew des versus HSM on an aircraft carrier?
Biggest thing, actually, no. We do have some different radios. Some of the ships are still getting upgraded to KU band for data link, so a lot of the ships still use C band. Carrier uses KU band. Other than that, we don't own the biggest difference is we don't own the flight deck, so we don't get as much fresh water as we want to wash the helicopters. It's a little bit harder to maintain them. But we are the only community that comes back from deployment. On average, every one of our aircraft we have flown more than everybody else, and our aircraft look better than everybody else's when we get back. So that's the biggest thing.
Another question. With changes to naval warfare doctrine to fight in the modern age, how will drones impact HSM?
So part of the helicopter con ops and what's coming. So right now, if you look at the lifespan of the modern day helicopter, the 60 Sierras and the 60 Romeos have got a lifespan that are going to take us into the middle of the 2030s before they start tapering off. The question is, what's going to come online to replace them next to carry us out to 2045 and beyond? We're about to write the con up. CNA is actually in the middle of doing the analysis, and they're looking at the 2045 and beyond. I don't know what it's going to look like. I think it's going to be a family of systems, and I don't think you can justify not having manned and unmanned. I think there's going to be a huge unmanned component. If you want to provide a network, if you want ad hoc networks over the open ocean, there's not enough pilots in the world to put the nodes airborne. Where do you need them to create those networks for a distributed force to operate? So I think it's absolutely going to be a family of systems, manned and unmanned. And they'll probably progress one day to where my great-great-grandchildren, it's all unmanned and they're all flying it with their Xbox control. It'll be sad. So sad. Yes,
One more, sir. Final question. Do you anticipate any further experimentation with Romeos aboard LPDs or any other platforms like that?
I got a phone call yesterday. I'm just going to say yes, I do. I'm going to leave it at that. The details. The other team gets a vote. If you add up all of our submarines, just Google submarines around the world on the unclassed version of. If you add us and Britain and France and Japan together, it comes out to just shy of 106 submarines. If you add Russia and China together, it's over 130. You do the math. And in the last 20 years, one country has gone for economy of scale, the other has gone for technology. That's why we're here. Man, oh man, it's a fun hunt. It's a really fun hunt. So there's no other question. Actually, you told me that was the last question. So I'm going to say, hey, thanks for giving me a few minutes of your time. For everybody in the Ethernet, thank you for listening to and bearing with me and not muting me and working on your other stuff. It's important for us to take a few minutes this week to just talk about where you're all headed, what you want to do, and how to bring you into the fold, whether it's HSC, HSM, and V20. Welcome to rotary aviation. It is the greatest and the only growing industry in the world, next to F-35. But, man, my flight suit doesn't down my aircraft, right? Thanks, guys. Yep.
Hello, I'm Captain Bill Personius, USN retired, and I'm the president of the Naval Helicopter Association Historical Society, otherwise known as NHA. Our mission is to gather and preserve the naval helicopter history. In less than 1 minute, I'm going to try to convince you to take 1 minute of your time to help our organization help preserve our history. Yes, I could ask for a straight up donation to NHHS, and you could do that by clicking on the donation tab at the virtual Gulf Coast Fleet Flying website. Mail us a check to the office or by going to the website, or just give us your credit card information. However, what I am asking you, your family, and friends to do today is something that is totally free and that most of you do on a routine basis anyway. And that is order things online via Amazon. Amazon has a great program called Amazon Smile that donates to nonprofits like NHHS a portion of every purchase you make. If you go to smile.amazon.com, it's easy to remember and easy to sign up. So a portion of every purchase you make in the future will go to the Naval Helicopter Association Historical Society. Please consider signing up for this great program for your future online purchases and use Amazon Smile to give a free donation to NHA Historical Society. I encourage you to visit our NHAHS website and check out at www.nhahistoricalsociety.org and send us your bio, a picture of your favorite badge or detachment plaque, and keep our helicopter history alive and preserved for the future. Fly safe.
Once I was a very young man, and very young man and none too clever, sailed across to faraway lands and faraway towns of tin and terror, ran amok in a strip called love, lost my mind in the streets of neon. Now I'm coming on back. Help me up, move right, left foot forward. Oh, we've had a merry old time, but merry old times don't count for nothing. Cocaine, song, and women and wine, memories blood and make me shudder. Bid in the morning, 8:45, couple of days to get my head off. Now coming on back. Help me up, move right, left foot forward to go, 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 untroubled by go, 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 ghosts in heaven. Far below the shiniest stars won't shine forever. Take your soul and you can go far if you don't fall from grace or favor. Gold awaits all those who star. You can take now and I'll take never. Now I'm coming on back. Help me up, move right, left foot forward to go, 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 untroubled by go. In heaven, go, 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 untroubled by go, go,
Awesome. Another great look at the Romeo in action. I'm excited to introduce myself, Lieutenant Tyler Ferris, call sign Blumpy. I was HSM 37 in Kaneohe Bay, Hawaii. We're here from HSM 40, the East Coast RAG or FRS, Fleet Replacement Squadron out of Jacksonville, Florida.
And good afternoon. I'm Lieutenant Anthony Klein, call sign Toby. I was, prior to coming to the FRS, I was HSM 46 Grandmaster, Exped Squadron out of Mayport.
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Tyler Boston, call sign Leno. At 40 with all these guys, I was at 74 Swamp Fox and did deployment time on small boy and carriers. So looking forward to talking about that.
Hi, everyone. I'm Julie Orlandi, call sign Dairy Queen. Previously at HSM 35 out in San Diego, did 2 deployments with them, and now I'm at HSM 40 FRS.
Good afternoon, Lieutenant Bakey, previously HSM 74, currently at the FRS with everybody else here as well, Jacksonville, Florida. At this time, I'd like to, we'll open up for Q&A and discuss further with ourselves, but at this time I'd like to introduce the Commanding Officer of HSM 40, Captain Drenning. He will speak upon weapons and tactics.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Again, it's pretty amazing to be walking around these hallways over here of the HTs. It was a little bit of a heart palpitation as I started walking through, seeing if I remembered everything from my brief. So it's wild to be back. I'll tell you what, it's pretty cool to see these videos, pretty cool to see all these weapons. And the weapons school was supposed to actually come out today and talk to everyone. They're actually on Andros Island, and they're actually doing an aviation readiness period for squadrons and getting them ready to basically start their trek building upon getting better with their weapon systems and then going over the horizon to go on deployment. And that's what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about was weapons and tactics program, because here's my first question to you. What's the most important weapon system on that 60 Romeo? You. Absolutely you. The Navy, if you stay into 04, will actually invest up to $12.5 million on your career. If you stay into your CO, they'll actually invest up to $25.8 million on you. And we have to build you in stages and get you to the next level, because this aircraft was not designed just to fly across the Florida Panhandle and sit here. It actually looks weird without weapons on it. And that will be the norm when you actually go on deployment. And in order to use those weapons, in order to go out over the horizon, the enemy is not going to sit there and wait for you just to come shoot them or wait for them like, I don't know what to do. Not at all. That is incredibly worthy adversaries around the world. So we have to start with you. We actually start with, you're going to leave here. You're actually going to come to an FRS. We're going to show you the basics of what we do for our primary missions. You're going to leave there as a pilot, qualified and model. Then you go to your first fleet squadron. As you get to your first fleet squadron, we have to then make you ready to go use those weapons. You don't get to pick when you show up to the squadron as far as what they're doing. You could show up. We actually had people show up to our squadron when we were deployed in the Persian Gulf who flew halfway around the world, got an incredibly bumpy cod ride and landed on board a carrier and popped out, and they're like, here you go. Here's your body armor. Here's your M11 sidearm, and those are armed helicopters over there. So you actually go then, when you start into your fleet squadron, you'll go through a level 2 syllabus, and you go through your primary missions, and you have cool flights. It's not just the introductory, like, hey, this is what we do. You get better, you hone yourself, and we have to make you better, because the rest of the squadron, let alone a strike group, is counting on your capability. The Commodore talked about this, about distributed maritime ops. The secret to our success is that the people behind me, and some of your instructors out there, they were fascinated to watch that if I was doing the mission with someone who's been doing it for over 20 years, or if they were doing the mission, someone who's been doing it for 6 years, there was no seam in that team. They could go over the horizon and be trusted to go take an aircraft, take $43 million aircraft, go work with up to another 50 aircraft in the air, and conduct a strike. That leads up to when you go into your level 2, which is basically before you're going to become an aircraft commander. You then go into your level 3 syllabus where you're getting that refined, because what always fascinated the surface community is that how many people it took to release a weapon versus what you are. As long as you meet ROE, and as long as you've met the guidance for that mission, you're cleared to release those weapons. And that is a 25, maybe 30-year-old lieutenant who's making the call on those. There's actually 2 that you go up into a level 4 after that, where you get into more advanced tactics. After that, this is where the weapons school discussion, as well as the Naval Aviation Warfare Development Center, or NODIC, which is a place up in Fallon, Nevada, that actually has all of our weapons schools for naval aviation. You have Top Gun, you have the Seawolf program, you have what the E2s have their equivalent of their tactics schools, as well as Havoc, which is like for the Growler. One place that they make all the people who then certify and qualify everyone within that squadron. That leads to, again, as you look not only at yourself building you, but also getting that entire group, your squadron, your detachment, the strike group, in stages, getting ready to go before you go to the horizon. So pretty cool. And again, go out and climb around that aircraft outside. But I promise you, that's probably the last time you'll see without weapons when you get to your squadron. And that's the cool part of the next step of once you get out of here. So are there any questions before they go into a lot of ranges of questions about anything as far as the weapons and tactics program, as far as you know, and how you go through those stages of climbing up through and getting qualified to use a weapon? Please.
How do pilots of your Navy get selected to go to weapons school, or do you fellow pilots?
So the question was, how do we have pilots get selected to go to the weapons school and go through the WTI program? We actually go through a nomination process of, you'll see your instructors here were hand chosen to come here to the HTs. These instructors here were hand chosen to go to the FRS, and the instructors that go to the weapons school, also to NODIC, are hand chosen as well. It comes down to your first tour. Your first tour, you're competing day one when you walk through the door. And with that, you're trying to do the best that you can in your first tour. After that, there's lots of good people standing around you in the room. I liken this to, you know, if you looked at like the NFL, there are no lousy players in the NFL. They're all at the top of their game. So it's a highly competitive, process. But then once they are chosen, they go up to a 9-week course up in Fallon, Nevada, and they go through the WTI program. After that, they come back and they serve as the WTI for the squadron. As well, some can serve as a WTI, what's called a carrier wing staff, as well as a Desron staff, which is the Commodore for the ships. And you're basically the tactics advisor to that group. So we did a graduation last week. Before I turn it over to them, did a graduation last week where your peers had left here, left the HTs. About almost 10 months later, they got done with the FRS with us. And you should have seen how proud they were, how much they were smiling, how excited they were to get out to their fleet squadrons. And we actually go through the soft patching thing as well. And we had the COs from each one of those operational squadrons walking up, giving them new patches. And absolutely the thought of saying that I get to go now do this, what I've trained for basically the last 3 years of my life, when you think about it, between BTs, HTs, and the FRS, how much they were smiling. I said to them, I went through the FRS, and on my FAM-8, it was early in the morning, it was out in San Diego. I remember I looked at the news screen and I said, wow, someone flew a small plane into the World Trade Center. And, you know, I went about my brief and started getting ready and got my questions and everything else. As I came out, I realized what had happened. And that morning was September 11, 2001. And we were getting ready to take off. And they came running out. And they're like, no, shut down the aircraft, shut down the aircraft. The flight schedule was canceled. I fast forwarded from that moment And about a year and a half later, in 2003, I found myself as a Lieutenant JG being part of the invasion force into Iraq. So pretty amazing to see, we were never taught anything, or not never, but not to that degree or never that thought process that I have to be ready to go to war essentially a year and a half later. So there are great missions to be studying ahead. I highly endorse, this community as well, as far as what you practice, you will go play. And it's awesome. And I look forward to seeing you around the fleet. Cool. Turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Skipper. So the reason we're all standing up here is we were just going to give a brief synopsis of what we've done and open up to Q&A. You can feel free to reach out for questions out of the static aircraft as well. And definitely utilize your Romeo instructors here that are teaching the HTs. Myself, Lieutenant Bakey, call sign Cheeto from Jacksonville, Florida, HSM 74, so Carrier Strike Group Squadron. Roughly over 12 months at sea and a 36-month tour. What you can expect is you'll go through the FRS. Romeo will be about 10 months, and from there you're qualified to go deploy. So some of us, you get through that months and you're meeting an aircraft carrier out at sea. So if you're getting close to graduation here, you might be within 1 year of meeting the boat at underway. So you have time on aircraft carriers, times on underway on cruisers, destroyers, deployments to 5th Fleet, 6th Fleet, 5th Fleet. Did ball tops up in the Baltic as well, Mediterranean. So East Coast is pretty good for that side of the world. You get through the Mediterranean, you get all the experiences of ports along the way, and then you get to see Middle East as well. West Coast will be a slightly different. We have some West Coast experience up here. But once again, we'll go down the line, give a brief synopsis, and feel free to ask questions on timelines or any questions regarding deployment.
Yep. So again, Julie Orlandi, call sign Dairy Queen, from HSM 35, originally Expeditionary Squadron in San Diego. Did 2 deployments, one in 5th Fleet, one in 7th Fleet, both on DDGs. So I think total about 12 months underway on DDGs for me. No time on the carriers, so I can't really speak, but definitely if you have any questions about small boy life, I have lived through that plenty.
Sweet, thanks. I'm Leno again. I've got a similar experience, but I just want to go ahead and open it up to see if anybody in the room has any questions now about HSM or anything online. One question I got earlier on the static displays, which a great question a lot of people wonder, is this whole CVN versus exped life. So, and I think most people would agree. You kind of get a mixed bag of both, whether you go CVN or exped. So, like I said earlier, I was at 74 as a CVN squadron. However, most of the sea time I did on deployment was on a DDG away from the carrier, right? Away from mom and dad. We had a couple debts from 48, who's an exped squadron, who were augmented with the strike group who did workups with us. So I guess my advice that I gave this morning was just, don't get too hung up on the taglines of exped versus CVN, because, I think given what's been said this morning, what you all have heard, you're going to see a little bit of both if you go HSM. You're gonna see it all, and it's all good. There's pluses and minuses to everything. We're happy to talk about that, but I'll say that it kind of goes with what's been said this morning. When I was on deployment on a DDG away from the carrier, within a 3-week span, we went from tracking an out-of-area Chinese sub in 7th Fleet to escorting at the BAM transit at the south end of the Red Sea to, providing targeting queuing for our ship to launch Tomahawks into Yemen, all within 3 weeks as a 2P with just a few months on deployment. So kind of like what Skipper was saying, once you leave here and you hit the FRS, will get you to that basic level, and then you get to the fleet and you kind of just get thrown into it. You learn how to manage the systems and the weapon systems and go out the door and do good things underway.
I'm Toby again, HSM 46. Again, that's an exped squadron, but to piggyback on what Leno said, I showed up to my squadron. Within about a month, I was sent out on deployment to meet up with a TR strike group in 2015. So again, just because you're exped doesn't mean you're not going to operate with the carrier. I did multiple underways while I was at 46 aboard 4 different destroyers, so I am purely destroyer life.
And Blumpy from HSM 37 in Kaneohe Bay, Hawaii. A very large squadron. It's the only naval helicopter squadron in Hawaii, and Romeo's at that. So about 15 aircraft out there for that squadron, footprint of about 400 people. And we send Romeo's on ships going both directions, 7th Fleet, 5th Fleet. And, the ASW, SUW primary missions have been covered, but I actually got to see some of the secondary missions that the Romeo can support. And that includes search and rescue in Hawaii. We supplemented the Coast Guard quite a bit. They operate the 65 out there, which has some short legs. Reaching down to the Big Island from Oahu is that's about a 2-3 hour flight to get down there, and then to perform SAR upon that. Romeo's perfect platform, and we had quite a bit of SAR while I was out there, and they continue to do that. Additionally, I was able to operate off a destroyer with an expeditionary background in 4th Fleet in support of the Teamwork South exercise, as well as UNITAS. So some excellent ASW experience there with some of the South American countries to see how they work, and to have that presence down there is pretty awesome. After that, we transited up through Central America and did some counter-drug ops. Not a better platform than the Romeo, especially working with maybe a P-8 friend overhead or Coast Guard C-130 overhead to identify, track, and then ultimately bust some of these cocaine runners and other drug smugglers coming up the coast. And they are out there as we speak, a lot of them. So Romeo is an awesome platform there, which we, obviously it's not our primary mission, but incredible opportunity there. Did a Westpac transit to 7th Fleet there, got to see a little bit of the South China Sea, and operate with the TR strike group as well. So again, there I am now operating with a strike group, laying on an aircraft carrier. No matter whether you go expeditionary or carrier, you're going to see both, guaranteed, as it's already been said. All right.
If anybody has any questions, you can see us at the static after this, or shoot them online. We can address questions, and also any questions directed at Captain Drenning as well. He's free to answer anything. Other than that, we can segue it and continue with the day.
Welcome to the cockpit of the TH-119 training helicopter. The cockpit features dual display, dual control cockpit. That enables the student and the instructor pilot to fly from either seat. The Genesis flight deck with the 4 displays is a fully IFR certified system. It actually is very similar to the combat systems and how the menu structure is and how the displays are configured to combat aircraft that the students will fly later on in life. So the concept here is everything that they learn at this level should be transferable to the combat aircraft, and the Genesis system does a very good job of it. The displays are fully redundant. In other words, everything that I can control over here, I can control on the other side, and vice versa. And the capability of this cockpit is also measured in terms of your visibility outside the aircraft. So this aircraft has excellent forward visibility for the VFR portion of the flight training as well. Another unique feature of the TH-119 that makes it optimized for training is the fact that while it can carry four students in the back, the ability to put a non-flying student in this center, what we call the student observer seat, allows that student to actually experience what's going on in the cockpit while they're not actually in the cockpit. So they see and experience everything that the other student that's currently flying is learning, and every minute they spend in the aircraft is actually enabling the learning process, making it more efficient and more effective. The Leonardo TH-119 will be the first single-engine IFR certified helicopter on the market in over 30 years. That then becomes the market entry point for IFR operations, which is a unique characteristic of this helicopter, which means that you're able to safely fly and operate in conditions where you have no visual reference to the outside. So in other words, in clouds and in weather, which inherently make it safer. The TH-119 will be fully manufactured and supported at our facility in Philadelphia. The best 3 things I can say about the TH-119 would be better training, lower cost, already made in the USA.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, everyone. Again, I have the distinct pleasure to introduce one of our senior speakers coming up next, Vice Admiral Rick Snyder. You can read his bio online. I was thinking about, given the whole litany of his 37 years of service. But when I talked about the history of HSM and HSL, he flew the Sea Sprite, then he flew the Bravo, and he's gotten to watch the Romeo come to fruition. Back when, just shortly before I was a JO, when you came out of VTs, they would ask if you had jet grades or not, right? Which implied that not necessarily all the smartest went helicopters. I can tell you right now, we're making helicopter grades, and the rest of the Navy is nowhere near as parochial as the jet grade comments of my youth would lead you to believe. Today, it takes the whole force to work together. But over the course of the last 50 years, there have been some pioneers in our community that keep throwing their bodies against glass ceilings. We need diversity of thought at the top. We would never have that opportunity if it weren't for the men and women that continued on and pressed forward and became flags and represented. If you look at the Navy today, across the board, 1300 series admirals, there are 65 today, right now. Anyone want to take a guess how many of them are helicopter pilots? Besides the two old guys that I'm sure know? 11. Times are changing. Vice Admiral Rick Snyder is the second most senior helicopter pilot in the Navy, the most senior being the VCNO. Tell me, times aren't changing. And the community diversity thought, not just individual diversity of thought. We need both. That's what your generation is going to bring to the table. There's no reason any one of you couldn't be the VCNO one day, couldn't be the Inspector General of the entire United States Navy one day. Please pay attention to Vice Admiral Snyder. He's a pioneer. It's guys like him. It's guys like Admiral Lesher. It's guys like Admiral McGrath, retired Admiral McGrath, continuing to run this organization or be a part of this organization. They're the ones that paved the road for you to have more of a career than just retiring as an 04 once upon a time. Okay? Their contribution to your life and your possibilities and your potential are without measure. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to prepared comments from Vice Admiral Snyder, and thank him very much for participating in this. Over to you.
Hello, and welcome to the virtual Gulf Coast Fleet Fly-In. I'm Vice Admiral Rick Snyder, and I'm the Naval Inspector General. As you might imagine, in my 37 years in the Navy, I've done a lot of things, but I've only been two things: a student naval aviator and a Navy helicopter pilot. Now, it's been a while since I've held on to a cyclic and a collective, but when someone asks me what I do in the Navy, I still start off with, I'm a helicopter pilot. Being a Navy helicopter pilot is who I am and who you are or will be. I do wish I could be at Whiting Field to get back into the cockpit, but I'm glad we at least had a chance to get together virtually. It's an exciting time to be a part of naval aviation, and especially rotary wing aviation. I was winged almost 36 years ago and headed off to fly a brand new helicopter, the SH-60B, in the HSL community. It was my first choice, and I have no regrets. So you heard me correctly, the brand new SH-60B. It was exciting. We had this new thing called data link. We had electronic surveillance, a radar, and sonobuoys, with the ability to use the ship to process their information. And we could carry torpedoes. That was it. Pretty impressive, right? Well, it was at the time. It wasn't until later we got machine guns, missiles, FLIR, and NVG capability. So look at where we are now with the 60 Romeo and 60 Sierra. The other thing that has evolved is the role of rotary wing aviation. We are now an integral part of Navy warfare. That's reflected in the makeup of aviation leadership, our vital role in air wing operations, and recognition by all the warfare commanders of the value of rotary wing capabilities. What has endured is the pure joy of vertical flight, the ability to operate from the dirt and from the airfield, from the carrier and from the destroyer, and the flexibility to respond to missions across the entire spectrum of operations, including unmanned air vehicles, from combat to saving lives and delivering the mail. The future is even brighter. The reemergence of great power competition and our need to be able to fight and win relies on rotary wing aviation. Submarine warfare is back. Surface warfare is back. Mine and countermine warfare is back. Electronic warfare is back, and you will be right in the middle of it all. You're on a journey of boundless opportunity. Aircraft commander, instructor pilot, graduate school, joint duty, overseas duty, squadron command, ship command, and much more. So give it 100% and give a darn. You may not want or make the whole journey, but don't close any doors. Give it 100% all the time. And care. Care about your sailors, your command, your Navy, your nation, and yourself. Before you know it, you'll be on this side of the camera, wondering where the time went. And then you'll remember exactly where it went. It was flights of joy and flights of challenge. It was leading sailors, making lifelong friends and memories. And it was serving the Navy and the nation. It was a life well lived. Good luck, fly, fight, and win.
DynCorp International is a leading global services provider delivering readiness through innovative, cost-effective solutions. For more than 7 decades, customers have chosen DynCorp International for one compelling reason. No one is better at supporting the mobilization, operational readiness, sustainment, and development that is needed to make a better tomorrow. We support all branches of the U.S. Armed Forces, the U.S. Department of State, other U.S. state and federal agencies, as well as international customers. Our proven processes and expertise reduce costs and enable new levels of performance for our customers. While our results-driven teams use real-world experience and intelligent, innovative planning to support each customer's distinct mission. Dyn Aviation professionals provide a complete range of aviation maintenance, sustainment, logistics, flight operations, and training to government and commercial clients worldwide. From rapid response field assignments to long-term operations and sustainment, our customers rely on turnkey solutions from DynCorp International. DI is the single largest aviation services provider for the U.S. Army, U.S. Navy, and the U.S. Coast Guard. Reach out to us to explore how we can help you.
Now it's time to honor the sponsors that provide us with our national awards at Naval Helicopter Association. With the cancellation of the 2020 National Symposium in May, NHA was unable to present the annual NHA Achievement Awards for extraordinary performance by pilots, air crewmen, and maintainers out in the fleet. However, with virtual Gulf Coast Fleet Flying, we are now able to provide and bring those individual award presentations to you in the form of short videos. They have been wonderfully sponsored by a variety of longtime industry partners for NHA. Each day of this week, with the exception of Wednesday, we'll bring the community and specific service awards to each community, and the presentation broadcast to you. A hearty thank you to the appropriate of all industry partners who sponsored an award or awards. Your involvement year after year in this award process enriches NHA and also inspires and also keeps us motivated here in the fleet. On Friday, during National Day, we will present the NHA National Achievement Awards to those individuals who make specific lifelong contributions to vertical lift aircraft and/or operations who contributed significantly to achieving the goals of NHA. Lastly, we need to pass along a huge thank you to HSC21 for overseeing the awards process, with a special acknowledgement of MC1 Mena from HSC3, who took all the storyboards, took the footage, created all the individual and crew award video presentations, which you will see now.
Hello, my name is Roy Griffin, Vice President, Business Development, Vertical Lift Markets for Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce is proud to sponsor the 2020 NHA Pilot of the Year Award. Rolls-Royce Defense is a market leader in aerospace propulsion systems for military transport and patrol aircraft with strong positions in combat and helicopter applications, and has significant scale in naval markets across the world. The Naval Helicopter Association takes great pleasure in presenting the NHA Pilot of the Year Award to Lieutenant Stephen M. Bowden, United States Navy. For sustained superior performance while serving as Naval Air Training and Operating Procedure Standardization Officer in Helicopter Maritime Strike Squadron 7-2 from January 2019 to December 2019. The most tactically proficient and qualified junior officer in the command, Lieutenant Bowden guided a wardroom off the heels of the Department of the Navy's 2018 inaugural Dynamic Force Employment Operations through an extended sustainment period and workup cycle, and through Carrier Strike Group 8's 2019 through 2020 deployment with the Harry S. Truman Carrier Strike Group in the U.S. 5th and 6th Fleet Areas of Responsibilities. As the Squadron Assistant Officer in Charge during Carrier Air Wing 1's Integrated Fallon Training, he expertly oversaw the planning and execution of 514 and 235 flight sorties, and mentored junior pilots through 44 grade sheets, ensuring 100% readiness of 4 combat elements for embarked deployment operations. Lieutenant Bowden's professionalism and devotion to duty reflect great credit upon himself and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Navy and the Naval Helicopter Association.
Hello and welcome to Trident Home Loans. My name is Marty Medvey, the owner-operator of this company, and I'm proud to present this award to the Naval Aviation Helicopter Pilot of the Year Award. The citation: the Naval Helicopter Association takes great pleasure in presenting the NHA Shipboard Pilot of the Year Award to Lieutenant Commander Ian L. Ballard, United States Navy. For sustained superior performance while serving as Hangar Bay and Assistant Air Officer assigned to the USS Iwo Jima LHD-7 from January 2019 to December 2019, Lieutenant Commander Ballard set the high bar of professional standards in the safe execution of more than 100 shipboard work packages, including 30,000 square feet of hangar bay restoration. Lieutenant Commander Ballard volunteered for multiple underway exercises for amphibious and cruise operations, achieving his Officer of the Deck underway qualification and maintaining proficiency in amphibious flight operations. Lieutenant Commander Ballard's professionalism and devotion to duty reflected great credit upon himself and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Navy and the Naval Helicopter Association. Lieutenant Commander Ballard, well done. Having been on a ship and a pilot myself, I can tell you that getting your SWO qualification or your shipboard qualification is something special. I'm sure that provided great credit upon yourself and also was highly admired by your fellow shipmates. It's something that I certainly admire. And if you're in Pensacola, come by. You got a glass of wine waiting for you, and we're looking forward to seeing you. Again, congratulations, sir. Job well done. Thank you.
Hey, greetings. My name's Tom Kane. I'm the Director of Naval Helicopter Programs for Sikorsky Aircraft. It gives me great pleasure to present this year's Naval Helicopter Association Award to Aircrew of the Year Deployed to Lieutenant Commander Jeremy S. Hall, United States Navy, Lieutenant Samuel H. Friddle, United States Navy, and Naval Air Crewman Tyson D. Putnam, United States Navy. For sustained superior performance while operating Cutlass 764, assigned to Helicopter Maritime Strike Squadron 46 on 13 June 2019. In response to distress calls from MT Front Altair and MT Kakua Courageous, the crew launched on the first of 3 sorties of the day, where they interacted with IRIN and IRGCN forces. They protected distressed vessels, assisted with evacuation, blocked vessels attempting to impede the rescue, and captured vital footage of the incident for higher headquarters. Cutlass 764's outstanding airmanship and devotion to duty reflect great credit upon themselves and are in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Navy and the Naval Helicopter Association. Thank you for your service, your sacrifice, and your bravery, and congratulations.
Breeze Eastern takes great pleasure in presenting this year's Junior Enlisted Maintainer of the Year Award. As a manufacturer of rescue hoists and cargo hooks, it is with great pleasure and pride that we are able to present this award. The Naval Helicopter Association takes great pleasure in presenting the 2019 NHA Junior Enlisted Maintainer of the Year Award to Aviation Machinist Mate, Second Class, Jesse S. Garman, United States Navy. For sustained superior performance while serving as Line Division Supervisor assigned to Helicopter Maritime Strike Squadron 79 from January 2019 to December 2019. Petty Officer Garman led 31 personnel, performing 394 daily turnaround inspections, 1,546 special inspections, 841 aircraft movements, and the launch and recovery of 346 sorties in support of Operation Freedom Sentinel. He molded junior airmen into a highly efficient flight deck team whose standard of excellence enabled 3,724 deployed flight hours with a 99.2% sortie completion rate, and established a culture that directly resulted in the squadron's selection for Commander, Helicopter Maritime Strike Wing Pacific Golden Wrench Award for maintenance excellence. As flight deck coordinator, he ensured the safe and timely launch and recovery of 5 MH-60 Romeo helicopters supporting 24-hour armed surveillance 7 days a week over a 10-month deployment. Petty Officer Garman's professionalism and devotion to duty reflect great credit upon himself and were keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Navy and the Naval Helicopter Association. Congratulations, Petty Officer Garman.
So as we close up today, I just want to say thank you to all of our sponsors. I'm shutting this. Sorry about that. I want to say thank you to all of our sponsors. The 46 squadron that was just shown up there as their crew that flew, they were on the Bainbridge, and they got to go right back out to sea after their 10.5-month deployment. That's what we do. The award that they got for the vessel that was in distress, that crew literally put themselves in between an Iranian warship and the ship that was on fire so that the Bainbridge could get there first. I humbly believe they probably saved quite a few lives. Here's the big thanks. Lockheed Martin, Sikorsky, you have put together the most awesome helicopter that the world has ever known. And I personally want to say thank you, because I'll tell you right now, we couldn't do what we're doing today if you guys hadn't done everything that you have put together over the last 40 years and everything that you're doing to continue into future vertical lift and everything else. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity of I have had to fly all of those aircraft. I look forward to what the future brings. I look at this audience, and I'm sure there's more out in the ether, and I can't think to myself, I can't stop thinking to myself how cool it's going to be each and every one of you. You heard Vice Admiral speak about the first helicopters, right? The first Bravos and how fancy they were. I've gotten to watch it. I flew old Bravos, and then I got to fly Romeos. Holy cow. The difference is unbelievable. We do our job well. HSM is going to be around for quite a long time, and I quite humbly, actually I'm not humble about it, we're moving the ball for the future of the naval aviation, for the future of naval aviation. I think we are the force that's going to make the difference down the road. So to everyone, Pumpkin and everybody here at Whiting Field and everywhere else, thank you for putting this on. All the students, thank you for voluntarily coming to sit here today, right? And everyone out in the Ethernet who's sitting in your award room watching this, thank you for giving us a few minutes of time to show you what we do and talk about what we do. I think we're going to sign off for now. NHA, God bless each and every one of you. If it weren't for you, we probably wouldn't get together and be as tight of a family writ large as a Rotary community as we are. So many thanks, and our hats are off to each and every one of you. Captain Gilchrist, it's great to have you at the helm. And Admiral McGrath, glad you're there too, sir. Thanks, guys.
I lay there in the dark, and I close my eyes. You saved me the day you came alive. No reason left me to survive. You saved me the day you came alive. alive, come 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 alive.
I just want to give a hearty thankful presence here for coming out here to NAS Whiting Field and supporting the virtual fleet fly-in from the team out in Jacksonville and also from San Diego. It was a great benefit, and students, we request, highly encourage, go see the 60 Romeo this afternoon. That's at the midfield hangar. Ask these lieutenants here some questions, ask them the hard questions. I'll also put another pitch out there for the chat box on the webpage. Please go ahead and log into that. Go ahead and get all your questions in there so we can prep the Air Boss to answer them on this Friday. Then tomorrow, we're looking forward to seeing HSC community. Many of you will be back in this room as scheduled for 12 o'clock. And then with that, we also have the afternoons events where you guys will get some a little bit more on Microsoft Teams to see how it is going to be in the FRS and also during your PQM tour. With that, we're looking forward to Friday morning. I hope you guys are all getting rested for the 5K. We're planning on running the South Field runways. So please schedule yourself / put that reminder in your iPhone. And then after that, we'll be watching the TH-57 do some great skills competition. And then followed by that, we're hoping to see the TH-73 on its departure flight, see that in flight, what we've seen on the videos, we'll actually see in person. And then the last portion, just a big thank you for our primary sponsor for today. That would be Sikorsky, a Lockheed Martin company. They provided all the support for today. And then NHA. NHA, we are stronger together. So let's make sure that we, if you're interested in joining this organization, joining the link, making sure that you are seeing everything that everybody is seeing, and making sure that we are stronger when we are linked together. And NHA is providing us that connection. So if you want to become a member up here, Lieutenant Lutz can also support getting you there. And then with that, we're going to sign off from here at NAS Whiting Field Sykes Hall, the famous site of Eurovertorx. From there, we are going to sign off here, and we'll see you all tomorrow.